Right then, I think we're just about ready to go, mate. It's who's this guy?
Easy now.
Who was that? Was that the checkered flag from today's race?
I think so, mate. I've no idea who that was.
Never seen him before. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Drive Talk podcast. The backdrop is a little bit kitsch. I know it probably doesn't look that realistic, but we've done our best in the small little box that we've been given.
It's Pat green screening.
He is green screening.
And he's just green screen that. It's amazing.
It is. It's not too bad. It's a beautiful summer's evening. We are outside. We're not driving. We're responsible adults, and it's very rare that we get to have a beer on the Drive Talk podcast. So cheers, mate.
Yeah,
Great
cheers,
to
mate.
see you. And it's good to be here. As always, big shout out to our headline sponsor, Michelin UK.
We've had a lovely day with them today, haven't we?
We have. We've had a fantastic day.
We've been at the MotoGP at Silverstone today, and we are staying at Helidon Lakes Golf Club, which is the golf course behind us. Absolutely beautiful evening. And we thought we'd do a podcast and talk all things MotoGP.
MotoGP, and I think we were meant to have a guest on, but
Joe, who's that guy there?
I've got no idea. I can't believe we've gone this far in. And has he been sitting there the whole time?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Strange bloke.
He looks like that dude on the internet. You know, the one that rides around London giving out Haribos?
No, right. It does look a bit like him, doesn't it?
It does a bit.
Same eyes and...
Yeah, but it can't be. I mean, we wouldn't be able to have him on the podcast because no one knows what he looks like.
Today they don't, but I think by the time this podcast goes out, they might.
Does that mean we could reveal?
Let's just do a little cheeky up the skirt first. There we go.
Hey. Oh!
I don't know if that's him. It might be.
No, he's gonna take the helmet off and the headphones are gonna go flying. There's the reveal. Hey! Woo!
And the crowd go wild. They actually do. There is a crowd.
We
here.
actually have a crowd behind the cameras. We have an audience.
Some guy.
just some bloke.
Anticlimactic.
Not at all. This is the wonderful Harvey Rides Bikes, and I'm sure you'll be very familiar with Harvey. Well, maybe not with his face, because he literally is like the Stig. But
No, the Stig is my dad.
Oh, the Stig is your dad?
Yeah, that's the running thing. I've got
Okay,
now.
right.
Yeah.
So did you have that surgically removed?
It's a family policy.
Okay. I can't see why, because you are actually pretty underneath the helmet. So,
Do you guys want to get a room?
well, there's
Come
plenty around here. Anyway, Harvey, it's a great pleasure to have you on the podcast. I know we've done a few things together with Michelin UK over the last 6 months or so, and you're just the top bloke. And it's every time I see you, it's great, and I love hanging out with you. Can you give us a little introduction as to who you are for those of you that haven't or don't know about Harvey and what you do?
Well, thanks so much. Thank you for having me. That was a very nice intro. What do I do? I started filming my commute a year ago, I guess, into work. Stuck a camera on my face, a GoPro on my chin, and just sort of...
On a motorbike, I might add.
On a motorbike, yeah. And that was it. And just started uploading the interactions that you get every day, sort of having a motorbike, only one in London, just on my commute on the way to work. But some of them are just ramblings to myself and talking, like, I guess I uploaded my internal monologue, and then interactions with other people as well.
Yeah, but they're very, I mean, of course you're going to underplay it, but they're very well shot. They're very well thought out. And I know some of them are sporadic, and they're probably the ones that annoyingly do really well, the ones you put the least effort into sometimes, because Ped and I are very familiar with that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
How many followers have you got?
Across all platforms, it's about 1 million. But I imagine there's duplicates in there. So, but Instagram is sitting around 500,000. YouTube is 160k, and I think I've been doing it for about 6 or 7 months. And then
so annoying.
TikTok is about 300k, 307k.
Okay, that's very, very impressive.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't know.
So before we go into more depth about who you are, what you do,
Yeah.
and the feel-good factor that you give all of us, let's talk about today, because today hasn't been a normal day. It's been an awesome day at a sunny Silverstone, which just never happens. So I don't know if you organised that, or maybe it's because you're a tinted visor or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's wonderful. It was your first experience in MotoGP and yours.
Yeah, seeing the whizziest boys ever.
The whizziest boys ever. I like that. Yeah.
First thing for me, they're loud.
Yeah.
they make Formula One cars they're just so much louder than a Formula One car.
Aren't they? They literally, and I'm not exaggerating this, especially at the start. We saw the start of the sprint race today when they're all on launch control. You can actually feel it in your stomach. And I
You
remember
sound
that.
like two old guys going to a club. Can you turn it down?
Gives me a headache.
I want to go
I
home.
get a headache.
Like, he was handing out earplugs, and I was just like, no, thanks, no. No, but it is loud. It's very loud, very raw and awesome. But we all got to. You went into the Michelin workshop, the tyre sort of workshop where they fit the tyres and stuff. And I always find that fascinating. I've been lucky to go into a few, and you hear some of the same facts. But there are, I think, the standout thing about the Michelin tyres on the MotoGP bikes, and as you alluded to a few times, is the fact that, look, road tyres, amazing, what we drive, what we're used to on cars. But when you look at a MotoGP tyre, okay, it's about, the rear tyre is about that wide. But when you bring that down to the contact patch that's on the tarmac, we're talking about something maybe a 10 pence size or something when it's loaded up. Now that manages to translate 300-ish horsepower down onto the tarmac. And it does it for 40 minutes, flat out and corner. That just blows my mind when you think the technology that's in that, that section, that layer of rubber.
I mean, I know we talked a bit about MotoGP tyres last year when we were at MotoGP, but today just to actually see them in action, and the bit that I didn't realise, and a lot of people won't realise, is the tyres that they use today are bespoke, specific for Silverstone.
Yeah, I found it
of
really
compound.
interesting. Really interesting.
So they bring all the tyres for all the teams, and then they'll go back, they'll take all the tyres back, and then that's it. They won't be used again, because the tyres for the next round will be different compound, different mix.
Yep.
And I just find that unreal.
Because they were saying that some have 11 right-handers and 3 left-handers, so there's a harder compound on the right-hand side of the tyre versus the left. I was thinking, what? I've never heard of that ever.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
You don't have that on your commuting tyres.
No, I don't.
It's like, all those right-handers around Trafalgar Square, and it's like...
Can you get your shoulder down on the commute into London?
No.
only when it goes terribly wrong.
When you fall off.
Yeah, it's happened when it's gone wrong. But I mean, I've got... With the Bonneville, I'll send it over, and then the foot peg will hit the ground. I go, oh, that's the foot peg, and then
it's like that, like a warning. Then
that's about as gnarly as it gets.
Nice, but you're pretty handy. I mean, you're very handy on a bike. But yeah, we actually did a track day together a few months ago. But it was monsoon, wasn't it? It wasn't.
Yeah,
it was like the total opposite to this.
Yeah, monsoon weather, Mallory Park, Mallory.
Yeah, Mallory.
Yeah, and BMW S1000R.
Yes.
And you want to give it some, but you don't trust it just slightly, especially when it's your first track day.
Yeah.
And you're in your fresh new suit, Power Ranger suit and everything. And
do you just call my suit Power Ranger suit?
Yeah, mate, best because it is.
Oh, I thought it was really cool.
Go Power Ranger.
I thought the reason I got that suit was because it looks really fast when I'm standing still. So,
you're all crouched over when you're standing still.
It was so fresh. His arms were out.
Do I look like a newbie?
Yeah.
All the gear, no idea. Yeah, that's me. But yeah, no, it was an awesome race. And for two sort of let's say beginners that have been to a MotoGP, aside from the tyre aspect that we talked about, and the sound, what impressed you most? The sort of the fact that they can get so low and sort of turn 60, 65 degrees.
So if you're watching on the telly, especially the slow-mo stuff when they're coming out corners properly cranked over, that's impressive to watch. But when you're watching it live, where we were at the Silverstone wing, so you see them coming around the right-hander on the straights, and for me it's just, you watch just the back end of the bike ducks down, and the acceleration down that straight was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I don't think you even see that in a high-end race car, whether that's a prototype car or an F1 car. They just seem to squat down and just relentlessly
and get
accelerate.
on with it. Yeah, well,
unbelievable.
We've all seen the drag races that Carwow put out, and I think Danny Pedrosa on that KTM, which is a MotoGP bike, last year's one, that beats everything. I think, doesn't it? In the end, initially some cars get off the line, but yeah, it's awesome. And you, Harvey? Any other standouts? Apart from hanging out with me and Ped, obviously, because that must be pretty special.
The overtakes are cool. It just seems a hell of a lot more exciting. I don't want to, annoy any F1 fans.
Go for it. Go for it. They're on the wrong tyres, so you can annoy them all day long.
But just the sheer amount of overtakes is just so much more exciting to watch. the crowds are going nuts all the time because most of the corners, especially when there's a big bunch up, there's so much more happening.
Yep.
And everyone just seems a hell of a lot nicer, and it's just. And it's a bit loose. Like I was walking around the paddock, and you just walk into a garage, and no one really stops.
No, yeah, it's true. Yeah,
And it's just everyone's just sort of.
it's more accessible.
Yeah,
and even like when we
100%.
left there on the coach, not that you would know what leaving on a coach was all about.
I came home. I came back to the hotel in Bentley.
Yes. And how was the legroom in the back of that Bentley?
Actually, mate, to be honest, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, come on.
Patrick was in the front, so he had if we'd have had a head on, we would have both lost our legs.
Patrick
basically.
loves sitting on the dashboard. I mean, honestly, he's literally, I've never seen
But I
something.
have to say, okay, I haven't been in a convertible Bentley for a while. It sounded amazing.
It did.
Very un-Bentley-like.
Very. And considering it has basically the RS6 engine in it, it sounds more like an RS6 than the RS6 does.
Oh, it was mega.
Um,
So we had a lovely drive back.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, good for you. Anyway, I think we should now move on to our fabulous guests because, as I say, it's awesome to have you on.
Oh,
I know you've only just... you haven't revealed your face yet because you haven't recorded that. Because this is now going to come out in a few weeks' time, whatever it will be.
Yeah. So, but as of this date, I haven't revealed my face.
You are literally like the Stig.
Well, that's what I tell everybody. It's family policy, and he's my dad, and it was just a joke. But people actually messaged me going, "I know the
real Stig.
The real Stig.
Ben Collins or...
related to Ben Collins. It's like, I can't wait to see it this next day. Like, he's not actually.
So
It's not actually my dad.
I've got to ask you the question. So, if you're filming point of view with a GoPro on your chin to start with,
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious you're not going to see you. You're going to see what you see.
Yeah.
We struggle to build a channel when you've got that connection with your audience, when they know what you look like, and when you're talking to the camera and looking at the audience.
I think some of the shoes...
with a helmet on.
Some of the shoes you wear, mate, I think that's part of your connection problem.
You are right.
I've got... There's nothing wrong with... I didn't wear my red clown shoes today.
I think
Goodness.
you are right in the sense that you build a connection with the audience when they know what you look like, and when you look into the lens, you're looking at them watching, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where I think there is something, whether it's conscious or subconscious, if you're viewing POV footage, especially when it's not on the chest and it's on your head, and you look where I look, and when I speak, if the mic quality is good, the voice is played, you feel like you're there with the person and you're looking what they're looking at. So when I'm having a conversation with someone and they look directly at me, they're looking at the person watching as well. And whether that's I don't know, subconscious or as a conscious thing, I just think people like POV footage. And because my voice, I speak quite a lot in it, maybe too much, some would say, that some of the ramblings, that people feel as like they know me pretty well. And I respond to everybody's DMs, and I like read the comments, and there's little tiny bits of information that come out in my videos that people sort of learn along the way. Like, halfway, 6 months in, I sort of revealed that I worked in property and this is my commute. It's like, oh, Harvey law discovered. And because I don't reveal my face, people are latching on to those bits of information. So I feel like people know me.
If that's your point of difference, why are you revealing your face?
So my dream is to do this full time. I'm trying to do it. I'm in the zone. I am full time, but I'm in the zone of trying to make it actually viable.
Yeah.
And I think if this is going to go anywhere big, so big, long tours and talking to camera and explaining where I'm going and storytelling a bit more, I think I need to reveal my face and resonate with my audience a bit more. One of the other reasons is, there's two other reasons. One is the car story, which we can get onto, but one of my mate's girlfriend's dad gave me an RX-7 in short.
Cool.
And there's a huge story behind it. It's quite a sad one, but it was sat lonely for 8 years, not being driven whatsoever. And the story is I'm going to rebuild that car. Well, I don't know what I'm doing, so have someone else rebuild the car.
Sounds familiar.
Observe.
Welcome to the club.
I've done that.
Yeah, me too.
That's done it.
It's a Mazda RX-7. But the end of that video series will be me going to his house and going for a drive with him, whether that's for a track or whatever. And I want to tell that story. And the whole story, if I'm sat there in the passenger seat with my helmet on going, haha, I hide my face, it just doesn't bode well. The other one is, if I'm being brutally honest, I think you're a hell of a lot more marketable as a person if you reveal your face.
Well, it's little things like today we've been hanging out in the Michelin Hospitality, and I've taken 2 or 3 pictures or videos, and then gone to tag you in, and then thought, I can't tag you in because you haven't got a helmet on.
Yeah. And it's also a bit annoying like that.
Yeah.
So it started off as a mistake,
Yeah.
So I uploaded 30 or 40 reels, and it was sort of going up, and I didn't really think about it, and everyone kept asking, what do you look like, what do you look like? And I never did a story talking to camera. And I wasn't shy about it or anything. I just didn't think about it. And then I thought, oh, that's quite interesting, and lent into it, and then it went a bit too far. There's a Dutch at the bike shed said to me very recently, which is the one thing that made me think maybe I shouldn't do it, is he said, everyone's Instagram is look at me, look at what I have, look at where I am, look at the event I'm at, look at the car I have, or the bike I have, or the whatever it is. Yeah, it's that.
Yeah,
Whereas
look at the cycling sunglasses I'm wearing.
Whereas my
Touché.
Instagram is very, look at all these fantastic people or interactions, or look at these other people, not me. Which makes you think, oh, there's something behind that. That's actually really good. But
I suppose you can still, the beauty with it is you can still continue to do both, right?
yeah,
Um,
that's very much the plan as well.
Yeah. But I think the whole brand thing, I totally agree with that, because I think that's something that you and I, without blowing our own trumpets, sometimes I wish I could. Did I just say that? Oh no, I've had a beer.
Yeah.
No, I think what is we're very relatable, and I love meeting people that watch my stuff.
Yeah.
You love, sometimes like today we've had several people come up and they watch both of our content.
Yeah.
And I get a real buzz out of that. Not
Yeah.
because it's like, oh wow, they recognise me. Not at all.
Yeah.
It's just like you see numbers and figures, and you're like, oh well, this many people watch that video, or this many people subscribe to me. That's great. But when you actually meet these people, you're like, they're really nice people, and they've actually gone out. They have bought the car. They have bought thousands of Michelin tyres, obviously, because of me only, because they'd never heard of him before me.
Yeah, I was at the MCN show in London, the motorcycle thing, and motorcycle. Yeah. And I was with a guy called Guy Michael. He's on 70k kind of thing. We're walking around the show, sort of looking at the motorbikes, and someone came up to him every 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think he turned to me and went, "You have this tenfold."
Yep.
And I thought 50% of me was going, "Oh, I'm not sure about that." 45% of me was going, "Wow, like my whole thing is meeting strangers, engaging with people, and being accessible, and raising, like, sort of doing community meetups and charity events, and these people follow me, but no one knows who I am. This would be a fantastic opportunity to meet all the people that were here." And 5% of it was like,
Well, the downside is when you come back to MotoGP next year, it will take you 10 times as long to walk through the paddock, right?
well, I don't know if I'm that big.
Well, no, you'd be surprised. Well, it's like Joe, you when you walk through here, because you come to MotoGP a lot.
I pay a lot of people a lot of money to
and
come
it's
up
like,
to me.
oh God, I mean, you can't get Joe from A to B quickly anywhere. But you will get that, and it is a nice thing. And for me, there's whenever I have someone come up who recognises me, there's like a few emotions. First one is quite like that. It's quite cool, especially if I've got friends with me, because they're like, oh, so you have got a job. People do that. The big one is that it kind of affirms the effort you put in, that there is that view number.
It's real.
That's a human being that's watched your video.
Yes.
And it gives you encouragement to keep on doing what you're doing, especially if people say, oh, I watched that video, or I bought a car because of you, or I love you. For me, I'm doing a garage renovation at the moment, and no one gives a toss about my car reviews. Everyone's coming up going, how's the garage going, Ped? I'm like, keep doing some more garage build. But it is nice, and you won't be getting that at the moment.
Well,
You're almost missing out on it.
Well, when I go through London now, last winter.
Oh, when you're on your bike with your helmet on.
Madness, yeah. So last summer, once every 3 weeks, 4 weeks, someone would say it. But I've got a year's worth of backlog content, because I was so petrified because I don't ride in winter because it's my commute, that I backlogged all this content.
A year of backlogged content.
I've got a year.
It's like Misha, annoying.
I've got like 2 videos ready to go.
Yeah. So I all the way through winter, I wasn't commuting to work, but I was still uploading all these videos. And only a few people go, why are all the leaves green on the trees? But I kept going and kept going, and my size doubled in terms of following. And then I started YouTube, and that sort of grew. I don't really think much of it. I thought, okay, right track. But when I started riding again in spring and summer, 5 times a day, 6 times a day, people sprinting across traffic into the bike, the police on Parliament Square.
Oh, yeah, is that the one you put up recently?
Oh yeah, there's that
that's
one
one.
as well.
That's one of my favourite ones.
Yeah, but the police in Parliament Square, some of them yell at me, and some of them even know my name. They don't know my names. They just go Haribo at me. They don't know My name's Harvey.
So explain the
Haribo
Haribo
rides
thing.
bikes.
Have you got a brand deal with Haribo?
No.
If not, you need one.
No, I'm looking right into the lens.
Yeah, come on, Haribo. So what's the Haribo thing?
So the Haribo thing, way before I started making videos, I used to carry sweets on me because having a motorbike in London where eye contact is completely banned, you're not allowed to talk to strangers, it's like almost like having a dog. People just talk to you all the time. And I just thought it was really cool. So I'd pull up to the lights all the time and a taxi driver would go, "Hey, nice bike, how's it going?" "Good, thanks, how are you? Do you ride?" "No." And then the conversation would usually die down after that. And sometimes you sat there for 2 minutes and the window would just go like that, quite awkwardly. But at that moment when the conversation did die down, I would pull out Skittles or Haribo or Starburst or whatever it might be.
Okay.
And I just found it funny riding, because I would give them to the girl. "Do you like sweets? There you go." And I'd go, "Love you," and just go. And I just found it. I just found it so funny because the confusion on their face.
Yeah.
And it would almost be better than like giving them 20 quid because they'd go, the reaction was just so great.
What?
Confusion. This guy told me he loved me. And I love the idea of them getting home to like their husband or wife or housemate. Go, "This guy told me he loved me today on a motorbike," and went off chuckling. And,
It gave me some Haribo.
Yeah. So when I started making videos, I wanted to pick a sweet that was like that everybody knew. And if I was in a different country, I could get it there. And what is a sweet that everybody knows? I mean, if I could go back in time or in hindsight, I'd probably mix it up a bit because now I'm just known for this Haribo thing. But I'm starting to introduce other things. Like I did something with Capri Sun, and then I started, they're not veggie, so I've started carrying around like Percy Pigs or Candy Kittens as like a veggie option. I've given out Skittles and other things as well, just to try and mix it up.
Yep. So what have you brought? I mean, obviously the big question is, what have you brought me in bed today?
I haven't. Sorry, that's so off.
What? You need to put your helmet back on.
Yeah.
I buy them. I've been buying them all.
You can buy us a beer afterwards.
I think I'm on something like 500 at the moment. Yeah, and in petrol stations they're £2.50.
Wow.
The little baby bags, right?
No. I go share size money, baby.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's one of my first videos. He's like, "It's the big packet." I was like, "Share size money, baby." Yeah.
So surely you must have tried to get a deal.
So
have you reached out to Haribo?
I'll tell you a story, and I don't know if this is going to do.
If anyone listening knows anyone at Haribo, get in touch.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this will probably work in my favour or probably not. But about 2 months in or 3 months in, they contacted me, or their PR company did, and they went, "Hey, do you want to get sponsored by Haribo?" So I was going, "Oh my God, it's happening. This is it."
Yeah.
How amazing this. And I thought it was going to be 2 years in, and it's 2 months in.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And we went back and forth for 4 months. And I say that they were responding to my emails every 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
I was going, responding instantly, going, yeah. And I even suggested, let's set up a partner charity where we could raise money for charity and other people could contribute as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could do like a side Patreon thing where people could put money into a pot, and that would also pay for something extra, or we could put people's names on Haribo and we could make specific packaging just for a month as like a limited thing. And I gave them 11 content ideas, but also the organic stuff that I'm doing anyway.
Yeah.
And they were just like, "No, sorry, not interested."
It was probably way too a good idea for many agencies out there.
I was going to say they used to dealing with influencers that don't have ideas. I mean, I've only met you a couple of times. We met at the Bike Shed show,
Yeah.
and then I had a good chat today. And what strikes me, you don't have to have a conversation with you for very long. You are massively creative.
Really?
Yeah, no,
You are.
No, mate. You were talking about the idea you wanted to shoot today, and I'm thinking, Jesus, that's such a creative mind.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the thing is, all the way through school and life, really, I never thought that I had a creative mind whatsoever.
Probably because you were made to feel like that. Maybe were you academic?
No, not really.
No, I wasn't. But I don't have a creative
But
mind.
you don't do what you've done in the short period of time you've done it without being creative. It's that simple. And I think anyone in this space, if you're not creative, you just do the same thing day after day after day.
Mm.
But if you're pitching to brands and giving them ideas and stuff like that, that's a creative mind.
Yeah, well, thank you, I suppose. Yeah, thank you. My brother helps me out a lot, shout out Humphrey. But he said that to me as well. He said, "How do you have all these video ideas?" I've always got, at the moment, I don't know if this will ever stop, but at the moment I think I have too many. There's so many things I want to do.
Just write them down.
And and it's just like, it's a bit overwhelming.
He's always he's like, "So Joe, that car versus bike thing, all right?" Even on the bus today, you're like, "Right." So you can just see it's burning.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, right. So
I'd love to do car versus bike challenges with Joe or you guys. Something where you have a car and I've got a bike and we've got to do a weekly shop and get a certain amount of items or something. and I can only fit a certain amount of items on the bike, but I can filter or something, something like that.
Or you've got to do 2 journeys across London, where me and Ped can do one in our Bentley.
I've got a bit of a bike story about that.
Yes.
So many moons ago, I went to Le Mans bikes on the back of my mate's bike.
Wait, when you say many moons ago, what are we talking, like the 50s or?
No.
Okay.
In 93, 94.
Oh, okay, all right, yep.
And we went, the 2 bikes, me and my girlfriend at the time went with my 2 mates, so we were on the back of each of their bikes. And we got there, pitched our tent, and then me and my mate John went to the supermarket to get the shop. And we went around the supermarket and we bought like 4 slabs of beer. We bought a couple of big 5-litre things of wine, loads of food, totally forgetting we were on a bike, right? And then we came out and thought, oh my God, we're on a motorbike, right? So we had his tank bag with wine in it. I had a rucksack with a 5-litre thing of wine in it. I had 2 slabs of beer on each knee.
I've been there.
You got rid of all the food. You're like, we don't need the food.
And we're getting on the bike, and this big crowd of people gathered, and I said to John, I went, they're just waiting for us to drop it, basically.
There's a video I want to do with 10 caterpillar cakes on a bike and have someone behind me like reloading me, and because it's a bit, where are they all coming from, because it's POV, like,
of course.
I just give them out to people around London and give them a massive cake, like, because it would just really up the ante of the Haribo, because some people say, where are you keeping them, because I just sort of pull them out of nowhere. But doing a weekly shop or shopping on a bike, I've done that a few times where I've bought all this stuff and walked down and go,
I mean, we often get asked by people, how do you become I'm going to use the term content creator? And one of the really things you really need is you've got to have some creativity. You can't just do the same thing all the time. You've got to think of video ideas constantly.
Yeah, and this, absolutely. I think
you got to keep it fresh, and even someone like you, I think, you just need to slowly evolve and change, don't you?
Yeah,
because people just get bored so easy these days. And I think this is another conversation we're going to have, is talking about short form and long form, because you absolutely destroy it with short form, but then you struggle more with your long form because you've set yourself up as a short former in a way. And we've almost, not got the opposite problem, but
pretty much.
Yeah, I've got both problems. Yeah, short term.
They're both rubbish.
both struggling. But it is interesting. But I also wanted to say, and I talked to you on the coach on the way back when he was in the Bentley, about the feel good factor. And I think in today's world, listen, we've all been through a lot over the past 4 or 5 years. It's glorious today. We're sitting here with our beer and the sunshine and stuff, and we talk about mental health, and and we've had a pretty tragic summer in the UK, so I know that probably hasn't helped. And I think something that happened through lockdown in 2021, I think, was Francis Bourgeois. I think I pronounced his name.
The train guy.
And don't worry, I'm not saying you're exactly like him, but he brought so much happiness to a lot of households and people through a miserable time, right?
Yeah.
And he was a great ray of sunshine to a lot of people, including me. And I just loved, he brought me sort of 60 seconds of happiness. Yeah. And I think what you do is also, there's some similarities there, in the sense that you can watch any of your reels, and it just brings a lot of happiness, because you're making someone else. It's like, when you do anything for charity, or you do something, a good deed, it makes you happy, gives you a bit of self-satisfaction. And I'm sure what you do, like you said earlier on, even though it's just a packet of sweets for a couple of quid, you've made someone else's day that then might go home, like you said, talk to their partner and their flatmate. But not only that, when you amplify it, because you've filmed it, you haven't just done it, 20 years ago, it would have just been you and them. Yeah. Now it's your platform. Yeah. And I think it's such it's a refreshing thing in today's world, where there is a lot of, negative things. And it's just nice to look at your phone and not see a reel where someone's been killed, or something that's really miserable, you're like, or politics or something. You're like, one of your reels. And it's
oh, thank you. It's interesting that you mentioned Francis, because he's not, I would say, the sole inspiration. That I've got so many I could mention. Yeah. But I later on, I sort of realised that sort of looked at his reels a bit more and tried to understood the appeal. And I think passion is infectious. So I think 99.9% of the people that follow him do not give a toss about the trains.
No, not at all.
It's his absolute love and his passion for them.
Yep.
So there's another Irish guy who does woodworking and things like that, but the way he talks about it is really, really, he's really passionate, which is why, I don't make bike content at all. I never walk around my bike and go, this exhaust does this handlebar, because I think I'm going to talk to this many people. I want to get the 15-year-old on TikTok, and the mum on a school run, and the 80-year-old who used to ride, and everyone, as many people as possible. So that's, I've tried to, and if I can get people to smile at their phones, that's the goal. So if I've watched it 111 times editing it and I still smile, then that's good. And when I show my housemates and I look at them watching it and see if they smile, it's like, right, okay, that's good. Thank you. And that's basically what I try and do.
Yep.
I still can't believe how excited Francis gets about an old train, because you can hear it in his voice, can't you? He's just giggling and chuckling, and I've met him a couple of times, and he's a very interesting.
Have you met him? Yeah.
He was at the Goodwood Media Day. Yeah.
Is he similar in person to what he is on the camera, or a bit less hyper? Because I know
it's not hyper at all.
I know we all know Shmee. I don't know if you know Shmee.
I don't know.
Hi guys, I'm Shmee. I mean, Tim, he's been on the podcast. Yeah. He's a good friend of ours. But when you see Tim on camera, he literally is like, "Hi guys, I'm Shmee."
I think he takes a lot of caffeine before he goes on camera, right?
I don't know what he takes. But then when you meet him in person, it's like, oh, it's Tim.
No, Francis, very, very quietly spoken, shy.
Yeah.
Person.
Okay. Probably doesn't quite, well, maybe then, I don't know when that was, but doesn't quite realise what an impact he has had on people.
No.
How I mean, he was on Carwell the other day, randomly, or I don't know, doing some drag race.
He does some. What he's been very good at, actually, is he's obviously well known for the videos where he's got the camera stuck on his forehead. And
yes,
it's just such a weird camera angle like that, isn't it?
That's all part
of genius. It's genius.
Yeah, it's so clever, because but he's diversified his content, and he does. I like his kind of, if he goes to an event, when he was at he did a thing for Festival of Speed, and he did like a reel that was a summary of his day. And he narrates it, and again, even those are so well put together, and
it's also a bit vulnerable, I think. And I think I mentioned this to you earlier.
Yeah,
uploading your internal monologue, like my commute, is vulnerable. But with Francis, imagine the setup. And imagine he's in public, running down the street, chasing a train, and people look at him, but he's not caring.
With a camera hanging off.
And also imagine the first one he did when he's got 150 followers and 100 videos out there.
Yeah.
And he's running down the street with the GoPro looking, and he's going to still choose to upload that.
Yep.
Which I think takes a certain person to do.
Yeah, you got to have thick skin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think any of us, especially the kind of selfie style, a lot of,
you love it, Fed.
No.
You love getting your 1980s video camera out, and
I haven't finished yet. I just say, when you get smaller creators, they ask you about how you do, and a lot of them will find it very self-conscious to kind of film in public. And my advice is always, look, at the end of the day, you're going to look like a bit of a knob holding your camera up or holding your phone up.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, just ignore that bit. You're doing what you love, and the results will.
But I think it's so normal today.
Yeah,
isn't it? Like if we see someone like today, we're in the
you walking around doing reels and shorts,
doing reels. Yeah, exactly. But no, today in the lounge, like there was, everyone was, Stu, who was here earlier on. I mean, he's massive on social media. He was chatting to
he's now
Fabio Quattararo. Talking to Fabio. About shirts and stuff. No, but it's like, I think everyone does a bit of it today, don't they? So I think it's a bit, I've always been really self-conscious of dancing, because I can't dance at all. But as I get older, I just don't care. And I think it's the same with social media. Once you've just kind of gone through it and pushed through it, you're like, but there are instances where if I'm with Patrick and there's big cameras pointing at me, that's different to when I've got a small camera pointing at me. I find that quite terrifying.
I'm still learning how to do it. I mean, I've got 4 or 5 videos lined up with me talking to camera.
Oh, with your helmet off? Yeah.
And it's
so organised.
I'm so used to having the GoPro just glued to my face.
Yep.
Put it on, forget about it.
Yep.
I'm going to film for 3 hours, and I'll make a 1-minute reel. Just extract the gold.
How long does that take to edit, by the way?
I've had reels that I've spent over 20 hours on, and I've had other reels that I've spent half an hour on.
And those ones smashed.
This is why my short form content doesn't do well, because I like to 5 minutes.
5 seconds.
No, like I really, really go into the millisecond. But for shorts, absolutely.
It's interesting what you say there about the flipping the camera around, because I have, 2 years ago, almost to the day, I got my motorbike license. Last year, I had a lovely GS, and I did a few videos on it, and I took it to the Alps and stuff. Yeah. And actually, my audience really warmed to it. For someone who's a car guy, I thought, I'm going to put bike content on there. They're just going to go, not interested.
Okay.
But actually, they were quite interested, and even the non-bikers were like, oh, this is cool. But what they liked most about it, I think, was the fact that I then became almost what you are, in the sense that the camera now is facing away from me, and I felt like I could just be 100% me because I haven't got the camera looking at me, and there was not much filter in there, no swear words and stuff because it's YouTube, but I just was me, and people were like, "Oh my God, I've never seen you at all. I've never seen you talk like that and just be so open about stuff." I talk more about mental health. I just went off on tangents.
Because you're in your own world, you're in your own bubble.
100%.
The amount of times I've been at traffic lights singing my lungs out, the camera on, camera off, and people are looking at the traffic lights and going, oh yeah, they can hear me. Because you get a full sense of security.
You do.
A little bubble like this,
And I think that's for people who know you.
Yeah.
So I know you so well.
Yeah.
When I watch that, I'm like, wow, that's different, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a bit like on the podcast, actually. Podcasts are similar because you've got this, it's not that structure that you've got to conform to. So then let's kind of have a chat about where you are now, because I really want to explore this one.
Okay, yeah.
So you're now making this move to becoming a full-time content creator.
Yeah.
Which lots of people listening to this, or people who watch your videos, the dream is, be a YouTuber or, be a content creator. Should we talk about the reality of when you make that move? And the interesting thing is we've all done it at different times for different reasons. Joe, you did it, you were almost forced to do it.
Yep.
Post-COVID, your chauffeuring business kind of just evaporated and that was it. You had to be a YouTuber.
Yep.
My one, I've grown into it and just slowly filtered off my old job as a technical trainer, and I just don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And you're in that position now. How do you feel about that, and what's the challenges? Because I think we should explore that.
It's definitely petrifying. I mean, when I first started, I mean, it got to 100k kind of thing, and I thought, and people kept asking me. I did a Q&A. I was like, would you ever go full time? That'd be ridiculous. This could never be a full time thing. What are you talking about? I'm a surveyor in London. I work in property. I've got a mortgage. I've got to do this stuff, and like, there's nothing coming in. This is no way. And I was only on Instagram at that point. But I did think about it a bit more, and I thought, why am I doing this? Because when I got to 100k, I did think, here come the brand deals, and actually maybe be able to monetize this, but nothing happened. And I just thought, okay, I've got to start. If this is going to go anywhere, all I'm doing is chasing followers. And what's the point? If this is a real passion project and I want to actually take it somewhere, or sit on a podcast like here, or go to Alicante with Triumph, or go to the MotoGP with Michelin or whatever, then I actually have to get bigger, but also YouTube. So that thought started to creep in, and then I was just spending every evening just editing every day till 2 a.m. for about a year. Wow. And when it finally got to the point of where I was actually doing both, I think quite badly, I professionally I felt quite bad, and I went to my friends and sort of like maybe fielded the idea, and almost wanted them to say, you're a moron, don't do it. And I phoned my dad. And whenever there's a big career move for me, or like maybe I want to sit down and ask for a pay rise, or I need to write a CV, or I've got an interview, I would always go to him.
Did you check with your dad about tonight?
Tonight?
Yeah, like the podcast.
No. Dad, I've got this huge thing coming up.
Yes.
It's the Joe.
The real one.
Yeah.
Sorry, just carry on.
And I almost wanted him to say, no, don't do it, you're a moron. You've just got qualified as this thing, and you're a great company and all the rest of it. And the company I was working for were fantastic. I mean, really well looked after, amazing company, and I would have left months before if it was any other company I've worked for. And I went to him, explained it, and he said, you can always go back to your job. It's always going to be there, and you should do it 100%. And I thought, oh no, I have to do it, because I almost wanted him to say, don't do it, basically. Yeah. And once I realised that, oh my God, I can always just go back to my job and it'll be fine. But the real kicker for me was if I quit my job and go for it for 2 years, go, and then it fails in 5 years or 1 year or 10 years or whatever it might be, I think when I'm 60 or 65, I'll look back and go, it's fine. I lost a load of money. I had fun along the way, didn't die. But I know I tried. But if I carry on doing both, and I'm trying to do both, and then it fails in a year or 5 or 10 or whatever it might be. I think when I'm 60, 65, I'll go, what if I just took that 2 years and just went and edited all the time and said yes to all these opportunities. And I was turning down opportunities as well. So people were coming to me, do you want to go on this bike launch, or do you want to come to this event, or whatever it might be, and I was just having to turn it down because I didn't have an annual leave to go and do the thing. I thought, what if I met someone who then did this and like whatever, or what if I made a video or whatever. So anyway, that's how it kind of went. I handed in my notice, and I hovered over the email for about 15 minutes going, oh my God, because I've been working since I was 14, moved out at 17. So like my whole life has been geared to work, and be in an office, I guess. So then, to flipping to content creation, it's just completely alien and petrifying and exciting all at the same time.
I think when you're at a certain vintage, and obviously before Joe says anything, a later vintage than you two, you have commitments. You've got mortgage or rent, or and all these things you need to pay for. So to give up a full-time job, it's a big move. And I think if you're a younger content creator, you're just coming out of school, and I worked for a training company, and the lady that did all the admin, she rang me once. She said, I hear you do YouTube. I went, oh yeah, I do. My son is doing YouTube. And I went, right, and we're just a bit worried about him because more beers. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Right.
What a ledge.
No words.
And he was doing.
Cool guys do not look at explosions. That was cool.
He was doing gaming videos, like cheats about gaming videos.
Oh yeah.
And said, I've just found, he was 16, so I've just found out he's earning twice as much as I do.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. It's huge.
And if you're that age, you've got nothing to lose. But if you're a bit older and you've already committed, like you've done, to getting qualifications, to getting a job and a CV and a kind of employability, to give that up's a big thing.
Yeah, it is. And I think there's a massive risk element, but there's also using your brain as well. I think knowing that you've got a bit of stability to fall back on, a bit of savings put away, and but I think it's difficult, isn't it? I think anything like, let's say, self-employed or in the social media world, I think if all three of us, if none of us were risk takers, we wouldn't be doing what we do, right? Yeah. And I've had lots of jobs, I've done lots of things in my life, but I've never been afraid of going, let's try and give that a go. Yeah. But then when you do, you've got to give it a proper go.
Yeah. Really
and
hard.
Absolutely. And work hard. But well, that's fascinating. Let's talk about you mentioned the RX-7 earlier on.
Yes.
So
love a bit of rotary.
Are you actually before that, what's the bike that you cruise around on? And what is your dream bike? And what bike do you have at the moment?
So I've got, the people ask me this all the time as well, actually, because some of my reels feature 7 different bikes and most of them are press. So I own a Triumph Bonneville T120.
Okay.
Heavily modified. I mean, I've probably spent more money modifying it than I have value of the bike.
It was pretty pimped up at the bike show.
Yeah. It was on display.
You let me sit on it and everything.
Oh yeah, we got in trouble for that.
Yes.
And then I have a Kawasaki Z1000, which is Sugomi, which is my very first bike that I bought.
Oh, okay.
I had that when I first passed my tests. Been running for 3 months because I just thought, sports bike, what goes fast, what looks cool, kind of thing.
Is it green? Kawasaki green?
It's red. Sugomi edition is quite rare.
Yeah.
Rich. And then once I discovered the bike show and custom culture and cafe races and sort of British custom and scramblers and stuff like that, I thought, I've done this all wrong. So I got the Bonneville, and that's my baby. I've gone to weddings in the south of France with it. It's my daily. People say it should be a show bike and just whatever, but I ride it every day into London and back. So I love it. It's my favourite, and that is my dream bike. People ask me,
that is okay.
Bike.
Oh wow!
And I go, I built it. I've got every single thing on it. I've just sort of.
It's very personal, isn't it, to you?
Yeah, I've taken out bolts that are stainless steel and put in black ones to black it out, like the whole thing. It's really.
No, I know when you're showing me around it, you could see the passion there. It was like proper love.
Yeah,
like you had a relationship with it.
Yeah, and there's little tiny deals. She's called Eleanor 2.0.
Yes,
and it's Eleanor and Gone in 60 Seconds. Nicolas Cage. It's the same paint code as
Wow.
And then a 2.0 2 wheels and then a 2.0 because it's a different version of that.
Yeah.
But it's also got candy black around the back of it, so it looks distressed and things like that. So there's little tiny little stories behind each modification. But it's just like get well into which I'd probably never do on a reel, but because no one would be interested.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know actually. I it always drop one in every now and again.
Yeah, that's true.
If people are asking what you ride, and if it's a cool bike and you've done cool things to it, why not?
Well, I love it because the Bonneville is very like, I'm going to go grab a coffee and I'll get there when I get there, and the smell of it and the sound of it and the way it sort of moves around, it's just like and you're in an upright position, so it's just quite relaxed and it's fine. And I get actually sometimes feel a hell of a lot more relaxed when I come off it, whereas when I'm on the Kawasaki, you fight the road and you go for it and you're trying to attack it and go, and it's way too much power, so you get off it very wired. So it's a totally different experience depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So,
What do you think of a GS? Because Joe's mildly obsessed with GS.
Dad mode. I just think, they're obviously great, and they're most sold BMW motorcycle that they have. They're one of, I don't know, I think, they're obviously great. They sell well. I've never ridden one, but so it's not fair to me to comment, but I'm riding to Greece. I'm going to plug my new series.
Absolutely, mate. Please plug away.
I'm riding to Greece to read about Greek mythology in the location that it's set.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So annoyingly intelligent.
So
especially you should go along because your name's Achilles, mate.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I can teach you some Greek.
I need to read up on my Greek myths before I go properly. But for example, Hercules went to go get his ammo when he did his 7 trials. He went to go get his ammo for his slingshot from a particular island because the boulders are shaped in a certain way there. So the idea is when we get to Greece for the day, I'm going to take my brother Humphrey. We're going to ride to the location, and I teach him about the myth along the way, and we have a laugh. It's not all about Greek mythology the whole time. And we get there, and I read him the Greek myths that Hercules came here, and then I go through the whole thing and explain it. And then I look up and we're there on the island and the bikes are there. So,
see, this is why you're doing well, and this is why you're going to succeed, because you put so much effort and time and expense into that idea.
Yeah.
A lot of people are so lazy with social, and that is just, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's just, that's so fascinating. Yeah. That's the sort of thing that I would, like, it'd just be like, that's going to cost me an arm and a leg. I'm never going to see that money back, but let's do it.
Well, yeah, and also, imagine riding out Mount Olympus with your brother, explaining and teaching him about this is where people believe the gods resided, in this big mountain, but we're riding up there. I'm sorry, back to the GS comment as well. Like, we kind of want to show that anyone can do this.
Yeah.
So we're doing it on scramblers, Triumph scramblers, kind of to show that it looks a bit cooler. And also you can
less Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman.
Yeah. And our WhatsApp group is the long way round BTEC version. So like the budget version of that.
You know what I said earlier on in the podcast? I think you're really, really creative. Do you think so?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
really?
It's ridiculous.
I'd love to give people lifts as well in each city that we go to. So one of my series is a taxi service, and I put on my story, who wants a lift? And I pick someone at random, and I get them on the back of the mic and interview them along the way.
Yep.
So if I can go to different, I've learned some languages. I've learned some basic language in different countries and Greece as well.
Oh my
So I'd like
God.
I'd like to go and do it in France and then
Some
Italy.
people are really annoying.
And
It's
then
really
Italy.
annoying.
Well, we see if I'll pull it off or not. I don't know. There's all these ideas, but I don't know if
We need to fly out to random countries and just be there on the road and be like, "Wait a second, that's Joe. That's good."
And then I'd love to give people lifts in or we just base the whole Greece trip on giving Gerasimos a lift to work. It's 5 minutes down the road, but we've gone across Europe for it. So yeah, I'd like to.
Would you have to give people like feta cheese or something instead of Haribo?
No, I'm taking like coffee and sweets with me and money and giving to people and stuff. Yeah,
That's amazing.
I'll tell all the Border Patrol people that I love them. I'm going to give them sweets and confuse them.
Oh, that'd be interesting to see how that goes down.
Yeah.
Either good or bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Well, I look forward to seeing that series, obviously, because there's going to be a few of them.
But the point is, I kind of want to show that you can do it on e-bike. So we're doing it on scramblers. I've got a mate who's doing it on a street triple, and that's a sports bike. So we kind of get younger people interested in looking at bikes and think, just hop on the Eurotunnel, just go anywhere.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? The Eurotunnel. I mean, a lot of people see it as, it's funny, we've got some, there's some German influencers over here, and we all spend a bit of time out in Germany, and funny, you'll speak to the German influencers who also love driving and road trips like we do.
Yeah.
But when you tell them like you might be at the Nürburgring or something, you're like, are they like, which airport do you fly into? You're like, no, we drove over it. You drove?
Yeah.
And there's this whole sort of like, and I'm not saying it's the same with some, English or whatever. It's like that tunnel or the ferry is so easy.
Yeah.
Like and then all of a sudden, boom, you pop out in France, and guess what? You've got immaculate tarmac. You've got amazing scenery and all. And it literally is on most of it. I appreciate some people might live up north or up in Scotland and it's less accessible, but you get over there and then the world is literally your oyster because you can just keep going. And
Plymouth Santander ferry. It's like
that's even
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I went to ride to Amsterdam, and my friends were like, let's not do that, that's too far. And I said, once you get into Calais, it's the same distance from London to Cornwall. Yeah. So it's like, imagine, so when you break it down like that, it's like, okay, we can get to Amsterdam. Yeah. So,
well, Bruges is like an hour off the tunnel.
Yeah.
And people, how'd you get to Bruges? Well, you drive down to Folkestone, you get off a train, and then you drive for an hour, and you're in Bruges. Yeah. It's as simple as that.
But it's quite cool when you do that.
Yeah.
Because you feel quite smug, especially if you get an early one.
Yep.
Because you can go for breakfast in Paris or Bruges, and you're sat there going,
oh, yes.
Yeah, I've done that.
Well, that must be early for Paris. Breakfast in Paris.
Yeah.
Well, listen, because we're getting very close to that magical hour.
Sorry.
No, don't apologise. Oh, wow. He's...
Some guns, does he?
Yeah, he's a proper.
That's youth.
Let's just talk about your cars. So,
yes.
And where did it? I'm assuming it started with cars, did it? Like the 4-wheel guy before 2-wheel.
I've only been riding 2.5 years. I'm a big car guy. First car was a Fiat Punto.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Pablo.
Let's brush over that and move forward.
And then my second car was an RX-8.
Oh
wow, that's bright.
So this is where your rotary life has come from.
Yeah. So I lifeguarded my little heart out when I was 17, 18, well before that as well. Saved up a load of money and spent everything I had on this RX-8.
Wow.
Before I got
that spent everything on oil.
Well, I had it for a year and it was perfect and it ran really well. And then I just got so petrified that it would blow up on me that I sold it because I just definitely couldn't afford to sort it out. So that's my second car. I've had an MX-5 Unos 1990 as well. Racing green and tan leather seats. It was older than me. Loved it. Wooden steering wheel. Yep.
Pop-up.
Yeah.
1990.
And then so my dream car has always been like I love loads of cars really, but I've always been interested in JDM. So the Supra, the Skyline, the Fast and Furious, the RX-7 and things like that.
Yeah.
Hondas, Type Rs and Integras and my dream car was always an RX-7 and once every few months it'd be 1 a.m. and I'd be there on the Wikipedia and Auto Trader. It's like when you go on Rightmove and look in castles in Scotland, you'd be like, I might go to a castle in Wales or something. So it was like that. Where it'd be every few months I'd look at RX-7s and I'd look into importing them. And I thought, never do this until I met someone in this bar and he said he'd give it to me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like surreal.
How old is it?
It's 1992 or 3.
I mean, how many drinks did you buy this person about?
Well, he was none.
Wow.
None. Yeah, none.
Okay.
And
he was full.
Is it need a bit of work?
Minimal rust, chassis fine, structurally whatever, but because it's been sat there for 8 years, it needs a rebuild really, and just a few other things. So it's getting new suspension, wheels, it's getting resprayed. Yeah.
Are you going to go standard or are you going to give it loads of power?
Single turbo. We're going for about 500 brake.
Oh my goodness.
Another thing we're doing, which I'm so excited about, is I'm putting a tow bar on it.
Oh, so you can tow your bike. Oh, legend.
So, because that is the perfect tow car, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's such a normal tow car.
The guy, because I wanted a mount. I've got a friend called Hawkeye Moto, and he's got a Mustang, and he mounts his Triumph Bonneville sideways on the back of his bike. Looks dead cool. I'll show you a photo. And I asked if we could do that, and the guy basically refused.
Okay.
Because the weight, and it's 50-50 weight distribution. He just basically said, you can't do it. It's too light, and it will mess with the car. And I said, right, what about a tow? He said, you can't do that either. I said, what about if it's like 4 or 5 times a year on the odd road trip? I said, well, fine. So we're building out this. He's fabricated this thing to get on the back of it.
Yeah.
So I can tow my bikes around.
So it's going to be a bit lifty at the front.
No, not really. He's building something that I can easily remove because I don't want to drive around with a tow bar on the back of an RX all the time.
No.
So it's going to be something
that would be rubbish.
Yeah. So I can. We're building something that can just be easily removed. And when I go on these trips, I can like Mallet Mile or something, or go ride in France for a bit, or take the bikes anywhere. Stick it on, get a double trailer, me and my brother's bikes on the back, his MT-07, my Kawasaki or the Bonnet, whatever it is, and then go somewhere, go riding.
So cool,
yeah. the way I'm gonna I've announced it now really, but the first video I want to do is do like a flyby of us driving in the RX-7, and it looks like an RX-7 video. Like, oh well, look, I've got an RX-7, and the camera just pans to the back, and we're towing motorbikes. So yeah,
That is brilliant. Again,
pretty cool.
creative.
I know, it's annoying. All I can say is this whole going full-time content creator, you've got nothing to worry about, my friend.
We'll see.
Honestly.
Especially now you're taking your helmet off. I mean,
I know, yes, yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
I think we're basically at the hour.
I know.
Approaching it now.
The sun's about
The sun's about to go. I think we've got a lovely dinner lined up from Michelin UK in there.
And someone's just arrived.
And we got the live crowd is actually really impressive.
I know.
Yeah.
I think
Can you get some video of the live crowd, Ped?
everyone's just being very, everyone's being very polite.
Pat's going to get some video of the live crowd.
21 people.
Actually, that's good. Yeah, Pat can pan around.
Pan around.
Give us
This is like the best live crowd we've ever had.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Wait, where's the checkered flag gone? I can't.
Oh, no.
He's got a bike shed shirt on there representing.
yes.
Yeah.
Do you reckon
Very
we get Lou on the
topical.
podcast?
Yeah, there's Lou. No, Lou.
Come on the podcast.
Lou would not come on the podcast.
You're going to come on the podcast, Lou?
No.
Yeah.
My lovely other half's just arrived. But Harvey, it's been absolute. Don't leave me hanging, mate. Seriously. No, it's been lovely having you on the pod. And it's been lovely getting to know you over the past few months.
Yeah, you too.
You've been a lovely, friendly face, and I think, like I said, I think what you do is so inspirational, and it's great, and you're going to succeed. And I look forward to the journeys, and I also look forward to doing some stuff with you.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to
Because
that.
something.
Bike v cars.
Yeah, we'll go and bug James about something. James, can we do this? James, can we
bike
do that?
versus cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Bike
I'll have
versus
to
cars.
drive the car, though, because I don't have a bike license.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
That's all right.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll work something out.
But yeah, and thanks to our live audience here. It's been awesome. Really very cool. Thanks to the beers,
Yeah.
checkered flag, the Easy Now, and all the rest of it. And thanks to James for making this all happen for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
Yeah. Should we go and get a
Thanks
beer?
so much.
Yeah, another beer.
Another beer, yeah.
Another beer. Let's go and get another beer.
See you on the next episode, guys.
Cheers, everyone.
Love you. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Woo!
This is a round of applause.